Hello, I'm Corey Rochelle, and we're here today with Director of Schools of Lawrence County School System, Michael Adkins, and we're going to do our first sit-down interview presented by 43 TV. So, Michael, thank you for being here with us today.
Thank you for having me.
We're starting a new series down here where we're going to start interviewing local officials, and we'd love to be able to have you in on about a quarterly basis if that's good with you.
Be glad to.
So let's get started off today, and let's just jump in the deep end of the pool if that's all right with you.
All right.
Let's talk about the hottest topic that we had to address as far as the school system is concerned over the summer and the start of the school year: chronic absenteeism.
Yes. Well, as you know, being on the board, took a lot of calls, concerns about that. But at the end of the day, what we wanted to do was work with students and parents who were missing days of school and find out how we could help. Because in this county, and I've said this to numerous folks over the years, this county commission and the Board of Education has invested significant dollars into providing our kids in Lawrence County with the things they need to be successful in the 21st century. And in my role as director of schools, I feel obligated to make sure every child receives that. And so we wanted to make sure that kids were coming to school, but if they couldn't come to school, talk to us, tell us why, because we're going to help you. And as I've said before, we're not trying to get students in court or doing this. We just want to make sure they're reaping the benefits of what we've invested in this county. And so 1,100 students missed 18 or more days last year. Now, some folks will say, well, that's not bad in comparison to other districts where they have, a 23, 24% chronic absenteeism rate. And I always respond to them that I'm not worried about those districts. I have to be worried about the boundaries of Lawrence County and what our school system is producing for this community. And so while we've seen significant improvement, we had a problem that was rising. Going back to 2015, every year it was going up and up to the point of almost 18% of our students. And since then, with the chronic absenteeism and the procedures that we have in place and the support of our parents and our students and our teachers in this community, realizing that missing that much school does set a child back. And if you miss that much school, 20 days over the course of 5 or 6 years, that's almost an entire year of school that you've missed. And so the focus was, let us know why you're missing, call the school, work with the school, find out, and if you do that, you'll be fine. It's when we had students and parents who really were working with us that we felt like we've got to get their attention. And we have, but again, it's the support of the Board of Education, the support of parents, students, teachers in this community to say, we understand what you're doing. We value what you're doing, because these kids are going to walk across our stage one day and graduate and go out in the community to work. And if they don't understand the importance of being there on time and committing to something, that's economic development that's going to struggle or suffer in Lawrence County. So that was the purpose behind it.
Right. And just looking at it from the common sense approach of it that we tried to take, is that just boil it down to the simplest view of it was all we wanted was kids in school.
That's it.
We just simply wanted kids in school. And the last thing I want to say about it is I think that we all learned a lesson, whether it be from the school system side, the school board side, or even the public side, where we all missed the boat was communication.
Sure.
We just need to be able to communicate.
Sure.
If you have a child that is going to that have some health issues or going to be out, or maybe they're a perfectly healthy child that's going to be out with just because they have an extended illness, just communicate.
Communicate with
If we communicate our needs with each other and work with each other, there will never be a problem.
And if you have a student who has a chronic illness and is going to miss, or just recently diagnosed with diabetes, whatever it is, pick up the phone, call the school, say, hey, I'm afraid they're going to miss school. What do I need to do? And I guarantee you, when that happens, every principal and every secretary say, hey, we'll take care of it. We'll work with you. We'll help you any way we can. Are kids going to get sick and miss school? Absolutely. Are there going to be kids this year who are trying to come to school every day, but they get strep and flu or have a bicycle accident, break a bone, that would become chronically absent? Yes. But is that their regular or normal path? No. But things happen. Yeah. We know that.
And I think it's important for the public to understand that the school system is wanting to do everything we can to make it easier for families
Sure.
and help kids, not the other way around
No.
and make it difficult. That's not what we're
No,
about.
and I've said this before. We want them in classrooms, not courtrooms.
That's
and,
exactly
and,
right.
And when you look at someone's life over the span of 50, 60 years, we get them for a short amount of time. And we have to be able to give them all the things that they need, from reading, writing, science, socialization, all those things. We get them for a short period of time. And we want to make sure that while they're with us, they're getting everything that we can give them, because we're in a different world than you and I grew up in this community, many of people our age. And these kids are going to be well into 20, 50, 60, 70. What's that world going to look like?
Right.
And so we need to do our part now, because we don't know what it's going to look like, but we know that getting up and going to work and doing the things you need to do probably going to be with you in 20, 50, 60, 70.
That's right. That's exactly right. Well, last thing on the chronic absenteeism and the attendance that we talked about, literally the policy change that we made has cut the problem in half.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
So-
We monitor it month over month. So last August 2024 to August 2025, significant drops. September significant. But at the end of the first semester, we did an analysis of it, and it's cut 50%.
That's great.
We had nearly 800 kids have perfect attendance. I just received a text message yesterday, a picture of a 6th grade girl. They were asking her, what's her goal for this year? Perfect attendance. Now, not everybody's going to get perfect attendance. We know that. But
That was never my goal in school, perfect attendance.
it's hard for everyone.
That's right. That's right. All right, so good. Let's move it on. Now, let's talk about some good things that's going on in school.
Sure.
First off, let's talk about some capital projects. I know over the last couple of years, from the north part of the county to the middle part of the county to the southern part of the county, in your community, everyone can see local dollars at work in our school system.
Absolutely.
New gym in Loretto.
Yes.
Eel Kaufman received a nice addition.
Yes.
Summertown got a new building, new additions,
Yes.
new football field.
Yes.
Orange County High School had fixed a long roof problem. We've added some buildings there. So there has been a lot of great things going on. So talk to us about that.
Sure. So from about 2021 to present day, and I'm counting some future projects in this, the Lawrence County school system will have invested around $37 million in capital projects. Now, you mentioned several of those, but it's paving of a parking lot. It's curbing a parking lot at our schools. It's restroom renovations. And folks say, well, spend a lot of money on restrooms. Yes, being a principal, restrooms are something that you want to have nice for your kids and the public. Technology investments, roofing, gym, and we're currently working with the county executive, Morgan, and the commission about a gym at Summertown. Long overdue, needed. Some buildings at Lawrence County High School. We got bleachers over there. The bleachers that were in that gym were the originals put in the 70s. We were the only school system in the nation that were using those bleachers.
Wow.
And they'd run their course, plus we had some other things. But when you look at what the board has done, $37 million in capital projects, that would not have been possible without COVID. Now, COVID caused a lot of problems. But as I've presented to folks over the years, from the chaos of COVID came this success. So we were able to manage our dollars, do some things differently, look at things differently, and do great work. $37 million in gyms, parking lots, restrooms, technology advances, roofing, gyms, football fields. A lot of great things have happened in Lawrence County. And we've got money already earmarked by the board for the next 2 to 3 to 4 years to do more capital projects.
I think the important thing to note is that yes, we got an influx of federal dollars from COVID. Our local government has been great,
Wonderful.
partnering with us and giving us money. But I think the key is that we have spent our money wisely,
Yes.
and people can really see where the dollars have gone. Now, along with that, I think the city of Lawrenceburg and the county of Lawrence County we're a growing county.
Yes.
We're a growing city.
Yes.
So there's two sides to it. For the county and city to be able to grow and attract new business, new people, new money to come in, they have to invest in the school system.
Yes.
And we have to invest in our facilities. And we're at a point where we are seeing investment and things are getting better and improvement is coming. But I know that there's some specific needs and coming up some projects coming up, and I'm going to name a couple.
Sure.
Because I do want to address them. Summertown High School, a new gym.
Yes.
Lawrence County High School, a multi-purpose building.
Yes.
Now, I'm going to address Lawrence County High School building for just a second.
Yep.
I know that it was brought up to be on the agenda a couple of months ago. It kind of got whacked over some language,
Yes.
I'm going to call it.
Yes.
But I just want to be real, and I want the folks out there to know that from my perspective, what I talk about on this show as a representation of Tennessee Valley Media is we're just going to put it out there and be
Absolutely.
point blank about it.
Yeah.
The building and the need at Lawrence County High School for a multi-purpose building, whatever you want to call it. If you want to call it an auxiliary gym, I don't care. It's a building.
Yes.
But it's equally as important as any need there is in the county, just simply because of the amount of students that are at that school, the amount of clubs, the amount of teams, the amount of activities that go on when you have one high school that is larger than the other two high schools combined as far as population.
Sure.
You need the space.
You need space.
I'm an absolute advocate that Summertown High School needs a new gym, and I will.
Yes.
I don't think there's a person in this county that can argue that.
No, I agree.
But
I agree.
the reality of it is that, and where I'm headed with my question is that where we are today, and we've had a lot of great things happen, we still have a long way to go to
yes.
fit our needs.
Yes.
So talk about the needs that are at the top of the list that we would like to see at the Lawrence County school system.
All right. Well, first of all, I think the Summertown gym is top priority right now. When you go into that building, into that gymnasium, one, the size, okay, it's a beautiful place, and it's served its purpose, and it's got history, and we want to continue to use that. But it's now time to start looking at a gymnasium up there. Loretta had a plan several years ago, probably when you and I were in school, about getting a gym down there. That worked out. County Commission, Board of Education made that happen. And now a football field at Summertown, that was needed. Our kids up there played 12 seasons on someone else's property. And state law does not allow us or them to invest money into someone's personal private property. So we couldn't advance that field for those kids. The board and the county commission said, let's do this. And so we did. They have a beautiful stadium. Those kids have what our other two high schools have. And when you step back and you start looking, okay, what's the need? Well, they need a gym. And so we've allocated dollars from the Board of Education. We work with David Morgan and the County Commission, and I think we're getting closer to moving in that direction. Some preliminaries we have to do, but we're getting there. So that would be that. The multi-purpose building at Lawrence County High School, very similar to the one we built at Summertown. The folks in Summertown in the community know that they were using the old elementary gym, and it wasn't what our kids needed. So we had that removed. We put in a multi-purpose building. It's got a regulation basketball court, restrooms, and it's got 2 classrooms. Well, Lawrence County can benefit from the same. Now, there'll be some different adjustments to the one at Lawrence County because it is a bigger school.
Sure.
You need to have a little bit bigger space. But that's our plan there, is to have a regulation basketball court, restrooms, and possibly space for future development, so that driver's ed can meet out there, or band can meet out there, or whatever it is, to free up space in the academic building.
Well, looking at it, again, I think we've been smart about the dollars that we have spent. So the need at Summertown, with it being a new gym, they need a new gym to play basketball in.
Right.
And volleyball and other sports.
Yes.
Lawrence County High School's need is different because, we need another gym where multiple teams can
Yes.
practice?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But I think the part that people miss out on, even at the county, all across the county, is that Lawrence County High School, Summertown High School, Loretta High School is the center of these towns and these communities.
Yes.
So I think people miss the boat on when Loretta's playing a basketball game, or on Tuesday nights when all 3 teams are playing basketball games. That is, not everybody's tuned into it, but that is the attention for the night.
Yes.
So the communities rally around these high schools. The high schools themselves do so much for the community, and there's so much involvement by the community at the high schools, to where the importance of it and everybody's needs are different.
Yes.
And putting the schools first is just a way to say we invest back into our county.
That's right.
because as businesses want to move in here, one of the top questions that is asked, what are the schools like?
That's right. That's right. And academically, our schools are doing well, but you hit on it. An industry coming here, and they're bringing their wives, their family, whatever, and they drive by our schools. They see from a curb appeal a nice facility. They hear about the work we're doing academically. You have the space used for athletics, and at Lawrence County High School, that multi-purpose building, you got cheerleaders. You've got basketball teams. You've got band. You've got clubs and organizations. That multi-purpose building could be used by everyone on that campus. Now, as a former coach, and hey, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to do a shoot around. I'm going to do a few walkthroughs, and then we're going to get out of here at regular time today because we were in Coffee County Monday night, and we're going to be in Tullahoma Thursday night. We're going to do a quick walkthrough. Right now, that quick walkthrough might get them out at 4:30.
Yeah.
And our other two high schools are able to do that. And that's not necessarily why we want to do it at Lawrence County High School. They need space. You know, that's a big gym. But when you're in there trying to teach basketball, because we tell our coaches, you're teachers, and you're trying to do that, and there's 4 or 5 groups in there, we don't let 4 or 5 groups stand out in the hallway of the classroom and disrupt the learning. So that's the purpose behind that. And it's not a auxiliary gym. It's not an additional gym. It's a multi-purpose building.
It's a building.
It can be used for anything they want to use it
It's
for.
a building.
Yeah,
That's right. It's a building.
Yeah.
So it's got, maybe it has hardwood and maybe it has goals or
That's it.
whatnot in it,
That's
and
it.
you can play basketball, but it's a building.
It's a
That's
building.
what it's for.
That's right. Exactly.
All right, so let's move on to the school report. I know we just got some schools that were nominated for reward schools,
Yes.
and the report cards are still, what's the term they use? Are in
Embargo.
embargo.
Yeah, some of that.
So, but let's talk about academics and how we're doing across the county and all the schools.
Just had a meeting today with academic team, and great things are happening. We've got outstanding teachers working in this school system, people who come to work for us in this school system, and we have great kids and great parents. And when you have that and it all comes together and the board and the county commission is able to put money in to give our teachers what they need, what our kids need, you're going to have success. So in the last 5 years, we've had 10 reward school recognitions. This year we had Summertown High School, Loretta High School, and I want to stop right there. The high schools are difficult to achieve that. Those two schools, Etheridge had it this year, and E.O. Kaufman. And we're very proud of those schools. But we missed it by just a fraction of a point at Lawrence County High School. Some of our other schools were A schools that were right there to be recognized as reward schools. Our principals do a great job. Our teachers do a great job. We're blessed in Lawrence County to be able to do what we're doing, but it goes back to our earlier conversation. We owe our kids every opportunity for them to receive that quality education to be successful when they leave us. Whether they stay in Lawrence County, which we want them to do, or they go off and come back, we want them to be successful. We owe that to them, and this county has made it very clear, we're going to give you what you need. One of the first things I did when I became director was call our technology director, Ken Hobbs. Mr. Hobbs, I want to meet with you. I want to make sure every kid in Lawrence County has access to a Chromebook. That was something that was just starting out by the time COVID hit. Today, every child has a Chromebook. Every school has a stockpile of Chromebooks to use. So if a kid drops a Chromebook, which never happens,
right.
You know, if it does, they get a Chromebook in their hand. A few years ago, we took their Chromebook, it might be 3 days later. Technology continues to invest. Our teachers have the latest technology. Now, of course, technology changes so rapidly, but they have what they need to teach our kids. So academic program in Lawrence County, we were just talking about today, from a year ago to where we are now, the way way things are going in the classrooms and the hallways and the seriousness of it, we're very pleased with it. We got a lot to be thankful for in Lawrence County.
Yeah, and to think about how much school has changed this year. We had my class had our 30-year class reunion. So when
30 years.
30 years. I didn't get to attend it. I was out of town with my grandson playing baseball. But just to think about how much school has changed in 30 years.
Unbelievable.
It is unbelievable. And with the programs and the different paths that you can go on, a kid can get on a path, at an earlier age if they know what they want to do. Yes. So talk about, I guess we're going to kind of weave our way through the CTE and all the different things now that they have to take advantage of.
Well, our counselors at the high school start talking to those 8th graders in the springtime. What is it you think you might be interested in? Well, if a kid says, I'm really interested in plumbing and electrical, all right, let's try to map out how you can get the most exposure to those classes. Well, I really want to go into medicine. How do we get you there? To dual enrollment opportunities. We really went around when I was a student,
Right.
To just hours in cosmetology. Being able to double block our kids back to back with something, the building and trades. Our central office, as you know, old Columbia State building was renovated by our building and trade kids at Lawrence County High School. And you're seeing that across the county, that these building and trade kids are going and building storage rooms at schools. They're putting back into the school system now. So nursing, we have so many kids every year that pass the CNA. We have students who get certifications in Microsoft. So when they leave us, they're ready. To going in and working in a fast food restaurant. We're saving fast food restaurants a few dollars by providing our kids with the training that they need so that that restaurant doesn't have to pay for that training. We're giving them those. So we offer a great deal of opportunity for our kids. And so many of our kids love those CTE courses. I had a few CTE courses, loved them. Then some are, hey, how do I get more advanced math classes? How do I get 2 years of college while I'm still in high school? So the opportunities are endless out there. And it's so much better than it was 10 years ago, because even now freshmen can take dual enrollment, sophomores, and one of the things that Lawrence County is blessed with is the partnership that we have with Columbia State. We're one of the largest participants in that program, and we're also one of the largest participants at UT Southern in bringing people into the education field. And so if folks are out there and say, I think I'd like to do that teaching, call us. We have a way of working with you to get you in there.
Yeah. So let's transition to that, because that's something I want to talk about. I know in the past, and maybe it's just been an issue since COVID. Hopefully it's getting better. Maybe the trend is getting on an uptick. But let's talk about the shortage of teachers and the different needs now that are out there. Behavioral techs.
Yes.
More speech therapists.
Yes.
Those are needs that we've had to address in Lawrence County. So let's talk about staffing and all the different varieties now of things that we have to account for with, I don't want to say this generation of kid, it's not the kid's fault, but there's just more things that we're having to deal with for mental health. 30 years ago, if you had said, how's your mental health? Somebody would have said, what are you talking about? So, but now you have to address mental health and all those things. So let's talk about that.
Yeah. Well, I think when you look at education in 2025, 26, and you think about what are our kids seeing? What are they exposed to? It's a whole lot more than we were ever exposed to. And so there are stressors in their life. And the cell phone has been a culprit, so to speak, and taken a lot of heat about what that's doing to young people. And I tend to agree with them. But when you have a need of speech pathologists, and you talk to the people in that field and say, well, why is that happening? Why is there an increased need in speech pathologists? And the experts, not Michael Adkins, not Corey Rochelle, but the experts in that say, we think it's the cell phone. Because younger parents have grown up on a cell phone, and when they're bottle feeding their baby, they're maybe looking at that phone and not talking with that baby. And you think, well, that can't be the case. But over time, when you see those numbers go up, you say, what's happening? They're able to attribute or take it back and say, that we think it's that cell phone. Mm-hmm. To the needs of students who have experienced some things in their life that no person should experience. And they come to us, and there's outside agencies that come in and work with them and help them, but then they have such turnover that child is never getting past that moment. They're having to relive it more than them. So a few years ago, the board said, we're done with that. We're going to put those people on our payroll, and we're going to have continuity for those kids. When they come in and they're having an issue, there's somebody they can talk to that they're going to see now, next week, the month after, maybe even through high school. And then social workers, because life happens to all of us.
Absolutely.
And they need our assistance. Now, I don't know that I would know all the resources in Lawrence County if I wasn't in this role, but if something were to happen, how can the school help me? We tell you, we're going to do this, this, and this. We're going to reach out to these organizations. This is a giving community. This is a can-do community.
Absolutely.
And so when you have that community who values social workers, school-based therapists, speech pathologists. It's an investment in our kids,
Yeah.
and it goes back to, if you're at school, you receive all those benefits. We can help you in any way we can so that you're successful. And our people in this community have paid for that. We owe them to give them that. But we see the first year we had school-based therapists in Lawrence County, our therapists saw over 400 kids. And we see a reduction in some of the challenges that kids are facing compared to other schools where they don't have it. With social workers, the need for food, help with bills, whatever it is, our folks are there helping them. And then recently, we've seen an increase in behaviors. Now, this is a byproduct, I think, of COVID, where some of the younger kids entering the school system are having a much harder time adjusting. And it takes one or two kids to disrupt an environment. And so instead of saying, well, we're going to stick them in the ISS, or we're going to send them home, or we can't do anything with them, our board has said, let's invest in behavior technicians who are trained to work with those kids, because we've got them for a short period of time. We owe society an opportunity for these kids to be successful.
Yeah.
And so when you have a Board of Education, a county commission who understands investing in kids is the right thing to do because it's going to benefit your community, it makes my job a whole lot easier.
Well, and not only that, but listen, I remember when the issue started to come up and we started having to deal with behavior and mental health and whatnot. And when you start to see the numbers of how many students are having to be seen about mental health or behavioral problems and whatnot, you start going, wow.
Yes.
How did this happen? How did we get here this fast?
Yes.
So, and again, those are all great things, but at the same time, we have to address it for the other side of the coin, because one of the things that we're learning here is that if we don't address it, not only is it a difficult challenge for that student, but it's a difficult challenge for that teacher.
Yes.
And how she's able to handle her classroom with the other 25
right.
students.
Yes.
So it's as much for the other kids there as it is for the one that needs the attention.
That's right. Every kid in that classroom deserves the best education we can provide them. And if that means investing in therapists to work with this one kid so the other 20 can benefit, then this county and this board has said, absolutely, we're going to do it. Now, I do want to talk about what we talked about is this is not a Lawrence County thing.
No,
this is nationwide. When I go to superintendent meetings and people are presenting, they'll ask the question, now what's happening in your district? And every one of them, what are we doing about the younger kids and the behaviors? How can we get something in there? What's happening? Why are kids coming to us this way, not knowing how to play school and all? And I tell you, if you've ever been in a school around pre-K and kindergarten people, they're godsend.
Yeah.
These are some of the, I don't know how they do it, but
Well,
they have such a patience with these kids.
Let me say this. One of the things that those that know me personally know that I'm going to say what's on my mind. I'm going to say what I think. If it hurts your feelings, I'm sorry, but that's just that's the only way I know how to do things. Yeah. And one of the things I love about our town and our community is that we are not dealing with this in a very kid glove way, right, walking around the edge of it. We see it's a problem, and now we're going to address it, and we're going to address it straightforward, and we're going to identify it, and we're going to say, this is a problem, and let's move forward. Yeah. Because I think that's the only way we're getting anything done, because you look around, if you look across the state in bigger districts and bigger cities and whatnot, it's not getting any better. And we chose as a board, as a school system, to say, we're not going to allow this problem to affect each and every classroom that has a problem. We're going to address it. And we're not doing anybody any favors. We're not doing the county any favors. We're not doing our kids any favors. We're not doing our teachers any favors by not addressing and fixing the problems.
That's right.
Identify the problem, fix it, and move on.
And when you can talk to the board and say, here's what we're seeing in our buildings, and now I'm going to talk to the county commission about funding, and you go to the county commission, you say, I need this amount of money, and here's why.
That's right.
We're going to invest in, because your kids, your grandkids, your neighbors' kids might be encountering some of that, and we owe them the best education we can. So we've got to invest some money in this.
Absolutely.
And so when you do that, you start seeing more reward schools. You start seeing ACT scores go up, which are up in the county. You start seeing attendance rise. You start seeing teachers saying, okay, thank you, because this is a tough job anyway. But when I'm having to deal with all the other, it makes it even more complicated, and folks get to a point where they say, I don't know if I can do this.
Yeah.
They entered education because they love kids. They want to make a difference. That's why they're there. But when it gets to the point where it's not as fun, then you don't want a teacher in a room teaching kids who doesn't want to be there, who doesn't enjoy it, especially in the lower grades. You know, you've got to really have that there. And at no time in my time as director of schools has anybody on the board or anybody on the county commission said, well, we're not going to give money to this program because it's going to benefit this school or benefit this school. 5 years, not a single time when I've said, I think we need to do this and this, that's fine. Yeah. You might have a Summertown board member or Loretta board member. It's the right thing to do.
That's right.
And that's not everywhere.
Yeah.
And the county commission's been the same way. They haven't said, well, you can't do that here because they don't have that. Where do you think it needs to go, Mr. Adkins, and why? And I tell them, yes.
Well, I'll tell you, and I'll speak personally for myself. I'm not speaking for any other board member. I'm speaking purely for Corey Rochelle. I grew up in Lawrenceburg. I went to David Crockett Elementary. I went to E.O. Kaufman. I went to Lawrence County High School. I live in Lawrenceburg. My wife's from Lawrenceburg. She graduated from Lawrence County High School. My kids graduated from Lawrence County High School. I'm a Lawrenceburg, Lawrence County High School supporter. But not one time in my tenure on the board have I looked at it from, I'm only going to do what's best for the schools I represent, the schools that I attended and went to. That's not what it's about. No. And I'm not doing my job, and I'm not doing what the people of this county entrusted me and us to do if we're only looking out for ours.
Right.
And that's not the right way to do it. And that's not the way that we do it. And I think generally, I agree with you from the standpoint of that we have done what's best for the county.
That's right.
I truly believe that.
Amen.
Now, there may be people out there that's going to watch it and say, I disagree, this, that, and the other. But we're there, and we see what happens, and we see where the money goes, and we see, as the need comes in, how it's handled. And I truly believe that.
Well, and even you look at the capital projects, but you look at the investment in our talent, our teachers, our bus drivers, our cafeteria workers, everyone who's in the school system. We've seen significant increases to their hourly rate. And I give this example a lot. When I first became director, someone working in the support personnel role, not a teacher, but support personnel, if they worked 20 years for us, they made the same as somebody who had worked 20 minutes. Mm-hmm. And I brought this up to the board, and the board said, hey, let's recognize longevity. Recognize those people. Pay them for what they've done. And so those folks have seen raises. Our teachers have seen significant raises.
Absolutely.
And so we still got work to do.
Yes, we do.
But we're not hiding behind something, or we're not saying making excuses. How do we get to where we need to be to best serve this community?
One of the things I'm proud of for you, and since you've came on board, is that the pay scale has really been addressed. Yeah. Now we have a long way to go to getting where we need to be, but it has been addressed, and we have thrown some money into that bucket, which desperately needs, and it needs more. But it has been better and improved, and I'm very proud of that. Now let's move on to something that we all like to talk about. Yeah. We're sitting in Studio A, which is the export studio. So, being director of schools, this county has a rich and very healthy, good name for athletes.
Always has.
Absolutely. So, let's talk to me about, I know you're a great basketball player. I remember being in middle school when you were in high school, and I looked up to you because I remember those days well. But talk about being the director and having some pride about how well our athletic departments do.
Well, one thing that I enjoy about this job, well, I shouldn't say just one thing, but there's multiple things. But one of those is being able to go out to all of the athletic events. And I say that because I go to elementary indoor soccer and watch kids play. I go to basketball games at the elementary, middle, and high school level. As much as I can get out and see, and you can see at an early age outstanding athletes coming, and you see parents supporting them, and you see parents getting after them when they're not behaving like they should. And I say not taking shots or anything, but if they're stomping around showing an attitude, a parent, hey, straighten it up.
Right.
that's what leads to the success. And then you have coaches who build on that and expect kids to behave. You know, we've had some things this year that maybe draw some attention, but when you look at those events, you see some remarkable self-control exercised by kids not involved in that. Some places, if a minor things happens, it just blows up.
Yeah.
And our kids aren't that way. That's a testament to the coaches and the principals and to this community. But Loretta High School girls basketball and volleyball, Summertown tennis, Summertown golf, Summertown basketball, Lawrence County, the Kaufman, South Lawrence. I mean, you just got such quality athletes in this county, and you got great kids. And when you talk to folks and you say, well, how's so and so and that team, and you say they're outstanding. They're yes sir, no sir. They're great kids. They're student athletes. They do well academically. They're doing the things that we need them to do. And I think that speaks volumes about who we are. And then there's a good gene pool here too. There's been you have the Weathers. You have Kurt Weathers, who's on our board, his daughters, the Burleson. You just have athletes coming through this county, and it's always been that way.
Yeah.
But you don't have attitudes that follow that. You just have good, hard-working kids that make a difference when they go out there, and they're great role models for those little kids who are watching.
Yeah.
And when I'm at some of these games, I see, okay, I remember when he was just a baby. He's out there playing now, but he knows how to behave because there's somebody over there watching.
Yeah.
These cheerleaders, band, you name it, they understand their role.
Yeah. Well, listen, I'm a sports guy. You're a sports guy, and that we love sports. This county loves sports. There's some people who says, "Oh, you maybe put too much emphasis on it," but sports and life go hand in hand.
Absolutely.
Sports and school go hand in hand.
Yes.
So, but yeah, we've had some great teams. Both all the teams across the county has done good. There's been, I probably should have put this together, but to think how many state championships have been won in this county over the last 10, 15 years,
yes,
it's pretty remarkable.
Oh, yeah. Well, we recognized at the board meeting, was it September when we did that, or in October, the Summertown tennis team, like 93-0, and hadn't lost a match in 4 years.
Right.
How many people can say that?
Summertown ladies golf team, which
Yes.
I'm a golfer.
Yes.
They win 6 straight state titles.
Yes.
That's unbelievable.
Yes.
That's unbelievable.
Yes.
So, yeah, all that's great. And I contribute it back to the fact that we have a great director, we have a great administration, we have great principals, we have great athletic directors. I believe we have excellent coaches across the county.
Sure.
I truly do.
Sure.
I think we have excellent coaches. One thing I'm going to name that I think is a really good thing, and I think it contributes to it, I think we have a healthy rivalry across the county.
We do, yeah.
Now, there's some rivalries that when you show up, there's going to be security all over the place. Now,
Yes.
our rivalries, sometimes you may see a sign you think you laugh at or whatnot, but I think we have a healthy rivalry.
We do.
When Lawrence County goes to either school, it is a big brother against little brother type.
Sure.
Now, even though sometimes it goes in waves, and sometimes we're on the bad end, and sometimes they're on the bad end, but it's a good route. It's healthy. I'm going to talk about some of the things the guys talk about in here. I believe that all schools in the county should play each other in each sport to continue that and to help the county stay strong and for the financial benefit of it. So we do need to continue to do this. I hope that we do. But being in your spot, I would think it would have to be kind of prideful to be able to say, man, our teams are
Oh, yeah.
good.
When I'm sitting in meetings and directors from all over the state are asking about this, and you can say, well, yeah, I got to leave here and because I get back to watch this game, or I've got to go here, or so-and-so it's just signed a scholarship with so-and-so. It is something, and it's a part of this job that I get to represent this county and share those accomplishments. But, when you start looking at those kids and those rivalries, now, 30 years ago, if Corey Rochelle attended this school and I attended this school, we may not be as close as the kids are now.
Right.
They play summer ball together. They communicate. And it's good competition. Now, do they get after one another? Yes, you should.
Sure.
But they're not dirty. They're
Right.
not trying to hurt anybody. They're not doing any of that stuff.
Yeah.
They have respect, but, hey, I want to win.
Yeah.
And they want to win. And then the fans get into it a little
Yes.
bit. But you don't see what we're not calling the state troopers. Our SROs aren't having to vacate a gym.
right.
They're getting after
Well,
one
the
another.
cool thing is, here's what I think is cool about it. The cool thing is this, is that you can literally look at it from the standpoint of my kids played against and competed against kids who I competed against their dad.
Yes.
And it will continue to be that way. To me, that's the coolest thing of it all. And like you said, years ago, because of social media and stuff, we weren't necessarily friends. And it was probably a little more, confrontational. Yes. But now, they do know each other.
They know,
And I don't think it's diminished the desire for anyone at any school to win. I don't think it has. I think they want to beat each other as bad as they have before. Yeah. But at the end of the day, it's not... they may go hang out afterwards, where when in my day, you didn't. No. That was no.
Summertown, Loretto was so far away from Lawrence County,
Right.
So even if Loretta's in something, Summertown's in something, Lawrence County's in something, the people of those schools that aren't in it are pulling for. We'd like to see Loretto win. We want that's our county.
Yeah, to an extent.
I'm just kidding. Those are our kids,
Right.
We work with their mom and dad.
That's right.
And we want them to be successful.
That's exactly right. And we were just talking here the other day. One of the new segments that we're going to work on here that X Sports is going to move to start doing. It's going to be a really cool show and program. Is we're going to start promoting and doing a weekly show on kids playing at the next level.
Yes.
So we're going to be reaching out to all the kids that are out there that's graduated from one of our 3 high schools that's in college right now playing, and we're going to keep everybody updated. We're going to do a show each week to highlight those during their season. So that's going to be something neat that we're going to be doing and adding on. And but now let's move on into being the director.
Okay.
A lot of people don't understand that the director of schools is basically a CEO of a very diverse business.
Yep.
You have education.
Yep.
You have busing, travel. You have to feed kids. You have an athletic department.
Yes. Yeah.
You have employees. You have a budget. You have facilities. You have behavioral problems. It is a very diverse business.
Yes.
If you just look at it from the perspective, and you're the CEO of it. Yep. Coming now to being the CEO of this very diverse business, as we're calling it, and then coming from being principal at Lawrence County High School. Let's talk about that transition from principal at Lawrence County High School to director of schools.
Yeah. Well, and you're right. Being the CEO, director, you do manage all of it, and you have to oversee it. I'm blessed to have great people who support me and work in those roles for me, from academics to the technology to athletic directors, bus drivers, food service. Great people. One person can't do all this. So right. Any success we have as a district is because of those folks and those teachers and those principals. So when you're the principal, you have all of that still, but you only have your campus. You focus on your needs, and it's very similar. It's just that if I'm worried about the buses at Lawrence County High School, in this role, I'm worried about the buses at all schools. And if 1 or 2 drivers are out, how does that impact all the schools? The safety, the same way. You focused at Lawrence County High School, making sure all the doors are closed, all those stuff. Now it's across the board. And when I go out, and I've done this every day, except if I'm out for conferences or whatever, but if I'm in the office, I'm in a school. I go to 2 or 3 schools a day. Sometimes I make sure I go to every school every week. I don't go to check on people. I go to see, we need to fix that. We need to do this. We need to add this. What do you need? Because I'm a hands-on. When I was a principal, I walked the hallways. I'm out and about. And so the roles are very similar. It's the budgeting side of it and looking ahead and making sure that in 2029 and 30, if enrollment continues to climb, what does it look like in Lawrence County? I may not be director. You may not be on the board. But our kids, our grandkids, or people we work with kids, they deserve to be in classrooms, not portables. And so the board said, hey, let's do a long-range study. Find out what does it look like so we're prepared, so that our kids are not going to portables, or there's 32 in a classroom. What do we need to do? So that side is different than being the principal, because the principal has, I want to go have the pep rally, who's going to do this, that sort of thing. Yep. Now you're looking out for everybody.
That's right.
To make sure that we're where we need to be. And if I'm not in that role, somebody picks it up and says, we already have a blueprint. Here's what we need to do. And so I greatly enjoy it. I do. I've told people, if I couldn't go to the schools, I wouldn't enjoy it. If I had to be in the office and do budgets and policy and do those things, it's not near as fun.
Yeah.
But when I'm a secondary person, so when I can get out and go to elementary school and they talk to you and hug you and you just get to see it, that's what I enjoy.
Yeah.
That's the part of it. And I get to go to the ball games and see the kids at Walmart. They all know who I am.
Yeah.
You know, my wife tells me from time to time, she said, I bet you in other districts, the kids don't know who the director of schools is. But when they see you out, hey, that's Mr. Adkins. I know him. He's that guy that comes over and wears a suit. He's that guy.
That is right. That is true.
And that's just something I think is important for our community, who we are.
So this will be for a later episode down the road because we're, as a board and as the central office, still kind of going through all the data. But just quickly touch on the study that we had done and kind of what information it's supposed to be getting us for the future down the road.
Sure. So we started this in 2023, and we wanted a 10-year track, so 2033. What can happen between now and then that could create some pressure on the school system? So if you've got housing developments coming in, where are they located? What kind of housing is it going to be? And do we think there will be kids in that? So they kind of run a formula and say, we think there would be some here, some there. And so if they go to, say, Etheridge, what's that going to do to Etheridge? So if it's going to put pressure on them, what do we need to do to make sure we're ready for that? So as you know, the board purchased the Etheridge daycare. We purchased that property to use for future growth. We moved the elementary, the 6th grade at Summertown Elementary over to the middle school to free up space there. It was one of our highest capacity buildings, and we've addressed that. We've looked at if we zone throughout the county, do we reduce capacity at every building, meaning we have opportunity to grow at every building and not have to go to the taxpayer and say we need more money to build.
Right.
We're trying to get ahead of that by zoning, looking at things we haven't looked at. Now, will there be tough decisions in that?
Sure.
Sure there will be. But if you're going to the county commission and saying we need a 1-cent sales tax or we need to increase the wheel tax because we weren't thinking ahead, that's tough on people.
Well, I think the thing that we're getting at and we're trying to say is that for the first time in the school system that I'm aware of, maybe, and I'm sure they've had some long range planning, but for the first time, really, there's been some investment made for the future.
Yes.
And some planning for the future.
Yes.
And
Yes.
what's this town and this county going to look like in 5 years, 10 years, 15 years? And how, from the educational side, how do we need to be spending our dollars? And what do we need to be preparing for?
What do we yes. Where do we need to be when it happens? Or there are other places, and I think we know who they're north of us and a little bit north of them, who it happens so quickly that they're trying to play catch up. And do we really want to be playing catch up with our kids?
Yeah.
We want our kids to come in and, okay, I got a good sized classroom. I got this. I'm not stuck in a closet somewhere doing this. And we wanted someone to come in and do it without emotion involved. You know, because when you start looking at schools, emotions get involved. Kid went here, they played ball here, they did this. You know, I went to school there, my grandpa went to school there, and now you're going to change it around or do something else. We want people just to remove the emotion and tell us what's the best business decision for this community.
Right.
And that can be tough.
Sure, it can be tough.
At the end of the day, though, what do you want us to do? Make emotional decisions or make business decisions?
That's right. Well, from our perspective as a board member or a commissioner or whatnot, it's our job to be, number one, a good steward of the money. Yep. So, you know, that's what we were elected for. We were elected to do what was best for not just mine, but as a whole.
Everybody.
So, so we'll talk more about that because that study's starting to get broke down and we're really starting to discuss it and plan off of it. So, let's talk about, as we're winding down here, a couple things. I want to ask this question. What are your needs? If it's January the 7th, school, we just came off Christmas break, starting to roll back into the second half of the year. What are your needs right now? If you had the snap of a finger or could just make the phone call and say, this is what I want, what are your needs of the school system right now?
I think across the board, additional support in our special ed area because we're seeing an increase in that. We've got a good handle on the mental health, the social workers, some of the behavior. We could always use teachers in the areas of mathematics. And that's just not Lawrence County, that's everywhere. That interest of being a math teacher is waning. And there's 4 years of math that students have to take in high school, but that advanced level of math, folks aren't going into it. So that's something that we've talked about, creating some kind of recruitment to bring that in. And then you've got your capital projects, and we've talked about it. Summertown, Lawrence County. We've got a need to do things throughout all of our schools, but big ticket items would be those
Right.
two.
There's always the little stuff that's
Yep.
got to be done. And
Yep.
each and every school, as we have a list here
Yeah.
of things that's been done or things that needs
Yep.
to be.
Yep.
Every school, every facility has needs.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
some are larger than others.
And,
but
one area that is always in need of is our teachers get sick. They have kids that get sick and they have to miss school. So we need substitutes. And we need people who are willing to drive buses. You know, if somebody says, well, I can only drive in the morning, I can drive in the afternoon. Give us a call. We can
Right.
work with you, because we can't educate them if we can't get them to us. And we have parents who work and leave early and they rely on student transportation. So we always need bus drivers. We need folks to just simply call a school up and say, hey, how can we help you? What can we do for you? And this community has done that. I mean, there's so many things that I could go into, but of what this community has done to help our schools. But there are needs like that: bus drivers, substitute teachers, people just who want to help their schools, and local businesses. Our schools call them all the time, and they help.
Yeah.
And this community helps. And we're going to have, I think, Big Kahuna at Lawrence County High School in a week or so, and they'll raise $15,000 or $20,000, and they'll put that money right back into a scholarship fund for kids.
Yeah.
And Loretta does things, Summertown does things, all of our schools do things. And what's often overlooked is if a kid comes to school and needs a jacket, they get a jacket. If they need a pair of shoes, if they need food, it happens.
Yeah.
And that, to me, is what makes Lawrence County special, because folks go above and beyond to give them the best education, but they go above and beyond to give them anything else they need to.
Yeah. So let's talk about one more topic that I want to hit. That's every parent, every spouse of a employee at the school system. The one thing that everybody is at the top of everybody's list: safety.
Sure.
So safety of schools and employees and all the things in the crazy world we live in today, and the things that, the craziness that can go on happen. I feel like Lawrence County has invested really well into safety.
Sure, yes.
So let's just go into safety and talk about the things that we already have in place, and then let's talk about what we've got coming in the future.
Yep. So we have secure campuses. All of our doors are locked. We go over situations with our teachers every year. Don't prop doors, don't do this. Close your doors when kids are in there. Check in at the office, background checks through our system. There's so many things that we have in place. Some I can talk about, some I can't. But recently we invested, the board and the county. I spoke to the board about doing these wearable alert button systems, much like my name badge, a little bit bigger, where teachers would have access to shut a campus down if the worst case scenario were to happen. Mm-hmm. Or a teacher passes out, falls and gets hurt. There's a way to alert people to come and rescue and help with that. And we have nearly 1,000 employees, and we're blessed that we don't have those issues every day, but it can happen.
Absolutely.
But
to touch on that, this year we've experienced medical emergencies.
Oh, yes, every year. Yeah.
And all types of things
Yes.
Every year. So
Yes.
this system that we're talking about that's going to be implemented in the near future, this alert system is going to be something really good.
Yes.
So,
And it's one of those things where you invest in it and you hope you never use it.
that's right.
And we had a generous benefactor in this community who said, I want to invest in that. And so from that generous benefactor to the county commission and the board said, let's invest in something that we hope we never use. But if we
right.
have to, we've got it.
That's right.
This system will allow us to contact 911 on a worst case situation faster than you pick up the phone and dial. Mm-hmm. And we can shut down campuses and we can do all the things we need to do because seconds matter. Yeah. We know that from all the training that we go through, it matters. But we've got state-of-the-art surveillance systems in our building. People say, why do you need cameras in the building? You're watching kids. No, we're not watching kids. But if something happens, we've got to go back and say, here's what happened. Here's what this person did. Who is this guy walking the hall here?
That's right.
We have all that. SROs in every building. Just a few years ago, the state gave money to districts for SROs. Well, we had SROs in every building already. This mm-hmm. county had said, put them in the buildings. Mm-hmm. Long before a lot of this stuff happened.
Not only our county commission and the board and all that, we're put safety such an importance. Not only do we have SROs in every building, we have an additional SRO so that when people are days off now, or if somebody needs to take off, we have somebody there now. There's maybe somebody's took another job and we're filling it, but we have budgeted for an additional SRO to fill the gap when somebody needs to be off.
And that's a testament to Sheriff Myers and his department, because they need those folks, but they also know the importance of having somebody at school.
Yeah.
The most precious thing in this county are those kids coming to our buildings. From the 4-year-old that walks in pre-K to the 18-year-old that walks across the graduation stage. That's the most precious thing that we have. And Sheriff Myers says put one officer in every building, have a floater. And then you have school nurses. Now, it used to be when we were in school, you go there, hey, you need a Band-Aid, put it on you. But we have nurses that have to address some serious medical. We see an increase in students with diabetes, and, that's difficult to manage for kids. But they're there to do that. And they handle things. If a kid comes in having issues, they're highly trained folks. Not everybody can say. We have SROs, we have nurses, we have some of the latest technology for all the things that we've talked about today here in Lawrence County. So it goes back to when we first started. Why do I want them in school? I want them to reap the benefits of what this county has invested. Yeah. This is a great place to be.
Absolutely it is.
We want you to get it, and we want you to go out and be successful.
Yeah. And for the county as a whole, it's good that, and I think we live in a place. Of course, I love living in Lawrenceburg and Lawrence County, because if you've ever been outside of it for very much, when you get to my age and our age at 48, where kids have gone through the public school system, you have grandkids in the public school system, and you think this is pretty great compared to what a lot of places deal with. But I love the fact that we can have kids who can come through our system, find a job here. They don't have to think, okay, live in Lawrenceburg, grow up in Lawrenceburg, but for me to go to work somewhere, I have to leave. Yeah. And that's not the way it is here. No. And everybody's working together to be able to provide the access to stay local if you want to stay local, or if your dreams or aspirations are to move on and do great things, that's available too. That's right. And that's what we're here for.
Yeah. Well, I attend job fairs where folks who are graduating from education programs, they want jobs. So we go and we set up a booth and we talk to them and try to recruit them. And they'll ask, where's Lawrence County? I say, I'll tell you, give them that. And I say, but I'll tell you one thing about Lawrence County. Let's say you run home, forgot to lock your door, or forgot to take your keys out of your car. It's going to be there tomorrow. Your dollar in Lawrence County is going to go further than in some of these big cities. Mm-hmm. That dollar in Lawrence County is going to buy you more than it is in Murfreesboro or Nashville, whatever.
Right.
It's a good place to live. And I say, you may not recognize that right now, but as you get older, you'll wish you had it. Yeah. And you may be locked in somewhere where you can't have it. Yeah. So come give us a try.
That's right.
Come give us a try and see if you like it. And we've had a lot of folks who have come and said, oh, this is great. I love it. When people retire in Alabama and want to come here, they want to come here because the people who retire from Alabama work here say, this is the place you want to be. Yeah. And so we're blessed. Yeah. We're truly blessed in Lawrence County from a county commission that supports education, understands it, a board of education, like you said, who says, what can we do for kids? Not what can I do for my district, but these kids need this. Yeah. That's special.
That's right. All right. So me being who I am, and so on, I told you know me well enough to know that I'm just going to ask some point blank questions. I got 2 more questions. One of them being, if you had a mulligan since you've been director, you want to try something again, what would that be?
The thing that's probably bothered me more than anything was when I became director and COVID hit, and I wrestled with, what do I do with the young kids, the little kids, and the hybrid model that we had in place? Because, you had all these ideas of what works and whatever. The thing that I would want to do over is look at what we did with the little kids. I think I made the mistake of saying, let's go hybrid for the little kids, where I wish I'd have said, bring them in every day, because they need that. Middle school, high school kids, maybe 4th grade up can do that, but those little kids, that bothers me, because I feel like I let them down, I let their parents down, in the sense of they didn't get that routine that's so important at those young ages. Yeah. That would be one. We've had some great hires. We've had some some people come and be a part of this system and some of the policies and the things that we put in. Of course, we could have done some things better when you coach it from the couch. But overall, there's been some things I think that we could have done better, as you mentioned, with the attendance policy of communicating that. And but going forward.
I just call, to be honest with you, those to me are growing pains.
Yeah.
Those
Yes.
those aren't things that we just really screwed that up. And I wish I could redo it. No, I mean, could we have done a better job? Yeah,
Sure, well, you always can.
You
Look
can
back.
always do a better job. Right. Now, last question. Hope this is a fun one for you. At whatever time you decide to say, throw in the towel, I'm done. I'm calling it off. What is one thing that you hope that you've accomplished as being director?
I would hope that people see Michael Adkins, a product of the Lawrence County school system, somebody who said, you've entrusted me to do this job, and that I did it to the best of my ability, that I took care of kids, I took care of buildings, I took care of the community, that I was in it for the right reasons. And when I was asked to interview for the director position in 2020, I told him, my focus will be on making it better for everybody. You're the principal at Lawrence County High School. You're supposed to do everything for Lawrence County High School when you become director. No, I'm going to look at where the needs are, because the kids at this school and the kids over here, they're my kids now.
Right.
When I was at Lawrence County High School, those are my kids.
Right.
Now they're all my kids. And these teachers are my people, and I have to do whatever I can to make their life better. You get a short time in these roles, I may retire in 5 years or may do it for another 20. But I want to make sure that whatever I was entrusted to do, that I gave it my best effort to make it better for the people and the kids in the first grade now, that maybe it's better for them when they're in the 11th grade because of things we did, or they're not in overcrowded classrooms or dirty bathrooms, and that teachers who give of themselves, that they feel like they're paid a good wage for doing what they do in this county.
Yeah. Well, here's what I want to say. I'm very proud that we have you as our director. Anybody who thinks that you're not doing a good job, or you could have done this better, or you could do that better, here's my say to that, and here's my voice to that. Walk a mile in your shoes a day. I mean, go with you one complete day and listen to the things you have to deal with each day, the problems that you have to address each day, the amount of people that you come in contact with each day, and the things that we, on just a daily basis in the school system. Same way with our teachers and our coaches and all
absolutely.
that. If you think everybody that's out there thinks, well, I would be doing this or I would be doing that, walk them out in their shoes.
Yeah. Well,
Jump into their life for a moment.
I know you're a Tennessee fan, I'm an Alabama fan, and I thought our quarterback could have done a better job last week, and you think that kicker could have made a better job.
Absolutely.
But we're not down there in front of all those people, and we're not in there, and we don't know what happened, and it's easy to armchair quarterback everybody. That's just life.
Yeah.
That's just life. But hopefully, when the people who know, you want to leave it better than you found it.
That's right.
And that's been the thing that has driven me, and that's one of my personal goals every day. Am I better at 6 p.m. than I was at 6 a.m.? Is the school system better at 6 p.m. than it was at 6
right.
a.m.? And if it is, great. If it's not, hey, let's hit it again tomorrow.
That's right.
Let's get after it tomorrow.
That's exactly right.
Yep.
That's exactly right. Michael, thank you very much for coming by.
Man, great.
Look forward to continuing to do this down the road. We're going to shoot for every 2 to 3 months to be able to get in here and basically be an open book and communicate with everybody out there and let them know what's going on in the school system. And those of you out there, get on to 43 TV on Facebook, which is a new platform that us here at Tennessee Valley Media is going to be launching. We're going to be doing sit-down interviews with other elected officials in the county and other things or other people that's going on. So thank you for tuning in, and be on the lookout for our future interviews and the future guests that we're going to have, because our focus here is just purely getting out the local information, the local news, and making everything about Lawrence County and Lawrenceburg.
Great.
So
Wonderful.
So thank you for joining us today, and we'll see you next time.